Hi, my name is Dr. Jim Ave, and I am the teacher for ATR 580, Athletic Training Research Methods 1 at Indiana Wesleyan University. I want to welcome you to our class and our time together. Hopefully you have the syllabus, downloaded it. I'm not going to go over every detail in the syllabus. The purpose of this presentation is just to provide an overview of our class so you kind of know what this class is all about. So I like to start all my classes with a verse from Scripture. The verse that I picked is Psalm chapter 139, verses 1 through 3 in the English Standard Version. And the psalmist wrote, "O Lord, you have searched me and know me. You know when I sit down and I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways." One of the reasons why I like this particular passage is that it tells us how intimate God is with us. He knows everything about us. He created us. He formed us in our mother's womb. I think this particular psalm or one of the other psalms says, and He still loves us, even though He knows at times how evil and wicked I can be. He still loves me and loves you. It's so much so that He sent Jesus here to pay the penalty for my sin and your sin. So He knows me and He loves me, and I worship Him because of that. All right, on the syllabus you can see my contact information. I don't put that out there on the old internet. So I have my email, my cell phone number. In previous classes, we've used the app. I don't remember the name of it, and I don't know if you are using it in the program. So I think it's like GroupMe or something like that. If you want to use that for this class, we can use that too. That's been kind of beneficial. But if you have questions, I'm here to help. That's what I'm here to do. Probably start with my email. I have both my two different jobs emails. I work at another university, and I have that email too, but I have all my emails being forwarded at Indiana Wesleyan. So email, I'll get back to you fairly quickly. If you can text me, you can call me. I have time restraints on there. I live in California, so just remember it's a 3-hour difference from Indiana or wherever you live. If you do text me to say, "Hey, this is Joe from your ATR 580 class and I have a question about such and such," and then I will get back to you so I know who it is. And same with if you call and leave me a voicemail, do that. Usually I don't answer phone calls from numbers I don't know because I get a lot of back calls, as I'm sure a lot of you do too. But leave me a voicemail and I'll get back to you. I'm here to help. That's the whole point of me being a college professor, is I try to develop courses that are meaningful and useful to students, and I want to help the students learn the material. So on the screen you see the covers of the textbooks for our class, the Foundation of Clinical Research, Application of Practice. We're currently using a 3rd edition. I believe the 4th edition is coming out soon. Actually, this is the first time we're using this text in this class, so I've kind of redid this class a bit, and in previous versions of this class I've used a lot of my previous lectures in other research methods class. I think I have 1 or 2 of those still in a class, but what I've tried to do this time around is find videos on YouTube and other online resources to help you learn the material. So I have another video talking about how to be successful in this class. And one of the things I talk about is which way do you learn, in different options for ways for you to how you learn. But one of the things is trying to have you hear somebody else other than me talk about these different research methods that we're going to talk about. So this class is really designed to provide an introduction to different athletic training research methods that are used And in our practice, you'll read in like the Journal of Athletic Training or the Athletic Training Education Journal. Even though our textbook is written by, I think, a physical therapist or other therapist, it's still very applicable to what we do in athletic training. So you'll take another athletic training research methods class. In that class is the first class. Sorry, this class is like the bones of research methods. So what are all the different methods that we use when we're doing research in athletic training? Then the second class, 590, you actually pretend that you are doing a study. You want to actually do a study because in 8 weeks you just don't have time to actually develop a study and collect data and analyze data. So we're going to go over the process. We'll talk about this week the steps of research. You actually go through the steps of research and actually pretend you're doing a study, which that's your next class, so don't worry about that yet. You'll see on the screen we also have another book called Courage and Calling. We'll be using this book for our devotionals for this class and a 590 class, which is a nice transition to our assignments. So one of the assignments is our devotionals. Again, I just said it's Courage and Calling. You'll see that you are assigned specific chapters starting in week 2, and then in those devotionals you'll provide a 1-paragraph summary of the main concept of that chapter, and then one paragraph describing how you can apply the material either professionally or personally. I like I like this book because it talks about what is our vocation, and that's different than our job. Gordon Smith talks about each person has a vocation that God has called us to, and so I think that's important for some of you are probably younger in their athletic training career. So just to get you thinking about that, you've been called to be an athletic trainer by God. So we'll talk about that through our time together in the next 2 classes. And you also see that in the assignment description. I say that you'll post these in a forum or discussion forum. You'll also post open-ended questions. These are questions that you had while you're reading the material that you're interested in what other people think about the material. So open-ended questions are questions that cannot be answered with a yes/no response. So if you read it and it says yes, no, then rewrite the question so it's not a yes/no response. So it elicits more thought when you're trying to answer that. It'll be easier for you when you're answering other people's stuff too. And a word about devotionals. I think you've had enough of them now in the program. That remember, it's okay for us not to agree on everything. I don't think we'll have that problem with these kind of devotionals, but it's okay to disagree with other people. We can still treat other people with respect, even though we may not agree with what people post. I mean, I read students post about things, and I don't necessarily agree with what students say, but it doesn't mean I think it's wrong. I just don't agree with it, and that's okay. It's okay not to agree with everybody. We can still get along if we don't agree with everybody. Almost every single week we'll have some kind of learning activity. You can call that an assignment, whatever we want to call it. The goal is to check your understanding of the material that we've gone over during that week. Most of them are 10 points each, but some of them are more than 10 points. I think 2 of them are 25 points. So those, I gave you more points because I thought there were more work involved in those. My goal is for them to be practical in nature. Some of them are to, again, check your understanding. Some of them I'll give you feedback. And so the next time around when you do them, you'll try to do them again in a different way. In this class, we're going to spend a lot of our time, again, on research methods. So I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about purpose statements, research questions, hypotheses, and you'll have to learn how to write those things. Try to give you examples of how doing that. How can we see those things in abstracts and articles and those type of fun activities. And this week you have a couple learning activities. You also have 2 exams, 1 midterm, 1 final. The final is not a cumulative, I can't say that word very good. It's not comprehensive over an entire material. It just is from the material. The midterm is the middle of the semester, weeks 1 through 4, the material that we covered the first 4 weeks. And a final exam is in the 8th week of the class, so it's material from week 5, 6, 7, and 8. There'll be 2 parts of that exam. There'll be in-class, multiple guess, multiple choice exam. Each question's worth 1 point. It's primarily based on what's in the textbook, and not always just from the textbook. And that's open book, so you can use your book. And you have 2 hours to complete the in-class exam. It's not going to take you 2 hours, but make sure, because it does time out by whatever time it's on in the class. I don't remember each time. So just make sure you give yourself enough time that it doesn't time out on you. So you get 1 chance. So make sure you have that book with you. The other part of the exams are a take-home type exam. It's more like the learning activities that you've been doing in the class. They're worth more points. It's more practical for what we've been talking about in our class. So these are our main assignments in our class. How to be successful in my class. I think it's always important for a professor to tell you how to be successful. I'm interested in motivation, and one of the things I've learned in educational psychology is something called the self-determination theory, and the self-determination theory tells us how to help people to be internally motivated. And one of the ways that we do that in classes is teach students how to be successful in a class. How can you be successful? First and foremost, want to learn the material. You have to want to be interested in the topic, number one, or it's not going to matter to you one way or another. I know this class, it can be a bit of a challenge in the next class because what does research methods have to do with athletic training? Well, it has to do with evidence-based practice. And in order for us to understand evidence-based practice and reading those articles, we have to understand the research methods to make an informed decision if the researchers actually used quality and appropriate research methods to draw conclusions on. And those things are important for us when we're making evidence-based practice decisions. Should we actually change the way we are practicing based on evidence that we've been reading? If the evidence is bogus, we're going to change our clinical decisions based on that. So we have to understand the methods of the research before we can even get into evidence-based practice and understanding that. That's why we do this class and the next class before we take the evidence-based practice. And additionally, that's why epidemiology is also important, because it's another method that we spend more time in. The other thing is, if you're not really sure what the heck's going on, please ask. I'm here, as I said earlier, I'm here to help. I know this is difficult. The research methods classes can be difficult to understand. I'm here to help clarify things. I think my directions are clear, but if they're not, please ask. Just so you know, the weekends my weekends are pretty packed. I have 3 small kids at home, and we're usually doing some kind of activity during the weekend. So if you look early at the assignments, make sure you understand what's going on before the weekend rolls around, so I can give time to help you, because I do want to help you. Time management, one of the things to be successful in this program, in not only just in this class, but this program, but at this point in the program, you should know this, but do a little bit every single day. Don't wait the weekends to do everything. Put a couple hours in each day, put it in your schedule, say, hey, I don't have anything going on Monday from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. I'm going to get some reading done, do some forum posts, start writing up that assignment that's due in my other class, whatever it is. Take time every single day to do work in each one of your classes, not just this class, but both of your classes. Make sure you do that because the assignments come up quick. So make sure that you're spending time each day in your assignments and in this class and the reading. So some course requirements is submit assignments on time. We're all professionals here. We all work multiple hours in our jobs, in our family, in our life. If something's going to happen and you're not going to be able to submit something on time, please just let me know. That's all I ask. Respect me, respect yourself. Let's all be adults here. If something's going on, you get sick, you got family stuff going on, and you just have a difficult work week, you got tons of games coming up, you're going to be traveling. I understand. I've been there, done that. Just let me know. Now, if it's every single week, that's a different story. Once in a while thing, that's a different story. Just let me know. That's all I ask. Don't email me 5 minutes before an assignment's due to say, hey, I've been sick for the last 5 days. Well, okay, after day 2, you should probably email me and say, hey, man, I got the bug. I'm not going to be able to get anything done. Hey, that's cool. That's fine. Just let me know when you think you can get it done by. Okay, that's the quizzes, the online quizzes. That's a different story. We'll have to work on that. Just let me know what's going on. Not quizzes, the midterm and final exam. I tried to provide detail in the assignments. Again, follow them. If you're not sure, please ask. Form assignments. The only forms we have, the forms we have in this class are the devotionals and a couple other forms after that. That is formal class time. So I'm thinking in this class, you still need to cite your references in the form, just like if you're writing a paper, support what you write with references. The devotionals are a little bit more relaxed, but you still should cite the textbook, Smith, whatever year it is. But it is class time, so do expect you to follow the directions and give thorough responses and responses back to your fellow students. In some of all of my assignments, I give feedback. The feedback in written papers, more than the forms, in the written papers, I'll actually type remarks in the Microsoft Word document, either in red fonts, or use the comment feature in Microsoft Word. So make sure you read the feedback in the paper when I turn it back into you, because as assignments build on one another, I want to make, especially this is going to be especially true in 590, the ATR 590 class, when we're doing our research paper. But even in this class, and so the learning activities are going to be building on one another. So make sure you read the feedback that I provide you on those assignments. And lastly, as I have said a few times, if you're unsure of what's going on, you need help, please ask. I'm here to help. I want you to be successful. I want you to do well in this class. I want you to learn about athletic training research methods in the 8 weeks that we are in class together.